welcome to the program. Thank you very much, and welcome to the next episode of Chilling3000 Hangouts. I hope everybody is having a great Friday night here this evening on the 22nd of August 2025. And today, or tonight, wherever you're watching out there in the world, on this episode, we are going to be interviewing William Braun, who is the co-host of the Rant N Rave Podcast and former co-host of the Popcorn Panel Podcast. And we'll be talking to him tonight about some his co-hosting, history with some painting, and many other stuff in this good interview here tonight on the program. And also, later on, we are going to be doing a Hangout Session, which is going to be about fantasy football, but also many other stuff as well. And that will be tonight's episode. And it is the end of August. Thank God, because I absolutely hate this one. But do not worry. Even though baseball regular season is coming to an end, we got postseason baseball around the corner. We got football, hockey, basketball. No, not basketball, because Casey Tatum is out for the year, so I'm not counting that. But and also the holidays. There's a lot of fun stuff to look forward to for the rest of the year, and we don't have to worry about people debating about golf. So, without further ado, let's get this episode rolling with our interview with Will. Alright, everybody, I'm here with our guest here for this evening on this interview segment. Please welcome William. How are you doing, William?
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Good sir.
You're welcome. For those who don't know who William is, for those who didn't see the description below, he is a podcaster on Rant N Rave Podcast, formerly on the Popcorn Panel, and he is also a movie buff, and what else is there? It's gaming. Am I correct on that?
Oh yes.
Movie and gaming fan over here, and tell us how you got into the YouTube community.
Oh my gosh. For a long time, I've been using YouTube for mostly casual stuff. Like back when I was in middle school and high school, back when that whole thing where YouTube was mostly booming, and then there would be a lot of nostalgic type of videos that were mostly uploaded. That's how I actually was able to find YouTube. I was mostly, I want to say, 6th or 7th grade when I first discovered YouTube. And all throughout those in entire years and whatnot, I've been mostly just browsing through videos of gameplays that I really love. And it wasn't until I want to say 2023 when I started expanding my horizons into being an actual co-host of a podcast known as the Popcorn Panel. So when I first started doing the Popcorn Panel, I was actually, you ever had those feelings where you actually start become a little shy and feel this nervous feeling of being on camera? That's how I've been feeling for when I first started as a Popcorn Panel. But then I've gained a great amount of experience for 2 years, and then I decided, hey, since I've been watching R&R for a great while, that's where I really started to put a huge valuable effort into giving it all.
You mean not just R&R, but you mean the more times you were on the Popcorn Panel?
Oh yeah, because I basically used my 2-year experience when I was on the Popcorn Panel, and then I decided to really go above and beyond when I had this great opportunity to be a co-host of the Rant N Rave Podcast.
And shout out to Victor for giving me that opportunity. I think I think it was both Victor and me because I am the owner of the channel, of course. But
Yes.
mostly shout out to Victor for agreeing to it as concerned, and also to Tori for having on Rant N Rave, which I was a little bit surprised, to be honest, because you weren't into wrestling, and I thought because Rant N Rave mostly had wrestling fans before you came on, right? And um, you know that was like back in 2019 or 20, where me and another guy was on co-host where we were fans of wrestling but was the one, and I thought that was um, that era was past. But the good thing about it was about this is that Tori was able to at least give you knowledge about wrestling. I mean, not all of it, of course. No, I mean, not you're not an expert of wrestling, of course, but at least the background history of it.
Oh yeah, it's just like one of those things where I remember like back in I want to say last year, this was the whole thing where WrestleMania 40 was like the newest WrestleMania event at that time, and he was able to show me the Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns fight back when it was literally the main event on night 2 of that particular wrestling mania event, and
Mm-hmm.
that got me into like actually want to go like deep into like really want to get to know a little more history about wrestling, because without like that classic um authentic wrestling knowledge, I don't think I would be on the Rant N Rave podcast as I am today.
Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm not a wrestling fan, watcher because uh, you know, I like like baseball season, which is my favorite sport. I don't want to take the time to watch many sports at once, during the off season. And I like to cool it down, especially during the holiday season, November on, and of course spring training so after that. So plus it's not really my type of thing, but I do like the humor that comes around with it, with the some of the crazy drama that's going on, because drama is everywhere it goes. You know what I mean? So how did it get the name William the Conqueror?
This was actually like I want to say a few years ago, where I was mostly like a long time like viewer of both of us on the Sofas, of course, which also includes like Romy, Gary, Alex, and Austin, and then I I pretty much went go by like my full name as a like a viewer through like the both of us chat, of course, and then I decided to like what, I might as well like change my name to like a more like a well known historical conqueror that was mostly back in those days, William the Conqueror, of course. And that actually honestly kind of like sounds like very fitting, because I whenever I'm up for a challenge that is like mostly really difficult to manage, I can basically like use all that will just to like really conquer that challenge and help me become like a better, like stronger person, like both physically and mentally.
That's cool. And did you go to a college that really helped you a lot more with that type of stuff?
With like like with college and whatnot, I went to a community college, which is literally I want to say 10 minutes away from my house, and then
Okay.
I was mm, all the way back from 2014, and then all the way up to 2019 was when I graduated with a associate's in science, and that alone right there, like that just really like signified like who I am. Like I was always looking for something just to um, accomplish a feat that helps me uh, makes not only myself proud, but also the family I cherish the most, like very proud of me.
Indeed. And you said science you graduated
Yes.
from? How come science?
Because it was actually like the one like major that I was mostly interested in. Although most of my I remember like back in my college days, like most of my classes were mostly like like drawing and like mostly arts type of classes. Like whether it would be like art history, and then I would go on to things such as like uh, acrylic paint, drawing, or any type of like actually like sculpture work. And I don't know, that type of like activity that I enjoyed back in college was actually something very creative that I can pretty much just like use like all my tools inside my head to create out of the box type of paintings that I actually still have.
Mm. Would you like to show us some of the paintings?
I mean, I would show my paintings, but they're mostly like in the attic for the time being. But I remember just like um, painting like landscapes, like such as like portraits. I painted something along the lines of I want to dare I say it, mostly professional type of artworks.
Oh, okay. Um, that's interesting. Did you like did you keep all of your artwork, or did you like sell some of the artwork?
I actually kept most of my artwork, but I haven't like really thought about like selling those artwork because this, you don't have those days where you kind of like you didn't even like think about to wanting to like sell all of your artwork for a good amount like dollars. But I remember um going on to the topic of painting, my mother has actually been doing painting for, say, it's 2022. And then she has actually painted like a huge variety of like paintings, whether it be like, animals or forests or even like traditional like paintings, like such as like Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, and whatnot. And then I remember it's just like because in my bedroom across there were used to be like another bedroom, but then I want to say um, in 2022 she was able to craft her own art studio, and get this, she has done I want to say on 500 paintings in her the course of the span of 3 years. And believe it or not, when I say this, she actually was able to sell like a good amount of paintings and some art shows like here in the Hamptons. Since I'm mostly like a Long Islander, she was able to like sell some of her well recognized like paintings, and that alone, I was really happy for her.
Yeah, that is some impressive stuff right there. Like, how long did it take you to make one painting for her?
For one painting when I was in college.
No, I meant like for her.
Oh gosh, I mean, to be honest with you, she has like that very abstract like type of painting style. So it would only take her, I want to say, for a few hours, because she has like this mindset to where she loves painting what she is actually in the mood for.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Um, has she ever drawn pictures of New York?
I don't think she has actually. I mean, honestly, it would be like really cool suggestions just to like give out to her because, I mean, it's never too late just to actually run out of giving more ideas for your brain.
Mm-hmm. What do you like about living in Long Island, New York? Not the New York City, but still.
Oh gosh, I mean, just everything about Long Island just feels very homey. Like have you ever had this feeling where you just love everything about like this whole like area or or town or whatever that you're actually staying at. Well, I just love Long Island because I just don't want to move out of Long Island anytime soon because of those memories I had. Like I remember, like back when I was a little kid, and all the fond memories that I had with my family, my cousins, and many others with my other family relatives. Those memories, honestly, will stay in me for as long as I can remember. And those memories are those things where I just love looking back at and just feel the nostalgia of what it felt like just to be a little kid with no social media, no phones in your pocket, and just living that very, very beautiful moment. And I just, honestly, I miss those days so much.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, those were like better days. Back. You know, like this. Let's say 15 years ago. It's hard, you know, to imagine like how did we get here with all of these technology changes.
Hey,
Um,
technology is evolving to the point where I hope it doesn't become Skynet.
uh, um, and what year did we first met? 2022, or like as for online in the in our community, like what's it 2022 when we first met?
Oh gosh, I believe it was actually 2022 when I first met you, and I
Yeah.
remember credit to Victor, he actually invited me over to the Filmtastic Forum group over in Facebook Messenger. And that is
Okay.
actually how I was able
Yeah.
to meet a lot of great people such as Justin Williams, Tanner Talks,
Mm-hmm.
um, Hunter Hughes, and including you, Jordy. Honestly, if it wasn't for that particular Facebook Messenger group, I don't know where I would be at in regards to making lots of really exciting appearances on many podcasts that and shell out streams that I do enjoy participating in the most.
Absolutely. And I was gonna say, like, without technology, like, we will not be here right now, which is one of the positive things. But it's just that it really depends. How do people feel about it? Because I can guarantee you, a lot of people that grew up in the 90s, 80s, and all that, wish that we didn't have all of this technology. But
Yeah. As a person who actually grew up in the '90s, late '90s, I honestly feel that because I was like always so fascinated with like technology and like how computers run and whatnot, and how
I
video
remember
game
Windows XP.
consoles, especially the N64, PlayStation, those were like my go-to gaming consoles that I grew up playing.
And I remember Windows XP back in the early 2000s.
Like with this iconic, like startup sound, and then actually
Mm-hmm.
just like the closing like sound. That alone like
Yeah.
takes me a whole back. I wish I can live that moment again.
Oh yeah. That's those were great times back then. The games that were on the computer, classic PC games. Um, you know, it's it was a blast. But uh, I guess the positive thing about the technology thing, one of the only is for one, uh, to meet people of course, but also like it's like easier to meet up with people nowadays because yes, there was meetup spots back in the day, but it's like you know there wasn't a GPS. We had to use walkie talkies, I guess, I remember those days with the walkie-talkies, but I don't know how they communicate about that. Especially if you wanted to go to a whole different city, like for if people wanted to go to New York for Boston, like that is that was very tricky stuff back then. Speaking of New York, have you ever been to New York City itself?
Oh yes, I have, like plenty of times. Like the last time I actually ever went to New York City was 2 years ago, where my family and I went to this one like hotel place that actually used to have like a Shakespearean Macbeth type of like walk-in. And before we went into the actual like tour itself, like there's this like really unique and cool like type of bar where you can like have a drink or whatnot. But I drink on occasion. But before we got in, we had to like wear these type of like masks that you would see in like in a very opera or dance type of thing. And then honestly, it actually kind of has like the unique style in this type of play, which is mostly like a walk-in type of play. And it was actually a kind of like a very trippy but unique experience.
Mm.
And believe it or not, too, they actually, I think last year was actually their last year of doing that walk-in play, because they've been doing it for a really long time.
Have you been to New York during Christmas time?
Oh, of course. I mean, it's just such a delightful sight just to see the Rockefeller Christmas tree, and then you just love. When I was a kid, I just one of my favorite like Christmas like play was it was it the Rockettes that they actually play over in Times Square?
Your favorite Christmas what? You got caught up.
Like show, like Broadway show, like the Rockettes. Those were actually like they've been popular for God knows how long. And I remember like a very vague memory that I had. We were over in the back of like the actual like theater, but it was still like a really cool experience around Christmas time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did that back in December of 22.
Oh, that's really cool.
As for going, well, not the play, but going to New York City, going on the Christmas sites. I saw the NPC studio, sign, and I went inside for it, but not to the studio itself for a show. But I went to the building a little bit. It's it's an awesome time, and I know people love the summer like I do, but it's just that once it gets to October, November, and December, that is the best time of the year, because that's where the holidays is. It's right there in front of you, and it's the most awesome time of the year.
It's honestly like the most joyful times of the year when you actually get this great opportunity just to spend quality time with your family, and then actually be thankful that you're actually with the family that you actually love, especially Thanksgiving. Best, the very best.
Yeah, for me, Christmas is like my favorite holiday because.
Oh, same.
Yeah, not just because, not just because of the presents, but it's also about seeing your relatives and, the Christmas sights and everything. That is why I love Christmas. I'm not quite sure how people celebrate it in LA, because I know they have Christmas sights and all that. I went to LA in December a couple years ago, but I'm not quite sure if they actually swim on Christmas. I'm not quite sure how exactly they celebrate, because it doesn't snow not LA, so I don't know how they celebrate it that way. But that's another thing about back to what we were saying earlier. As for the memories that you want to stay at your own home, many people want to live in LA because of career success. But I love Massachusetts because this is where I grew up, and also many great baseball stadiums. Fenway Park, the oldest ballpark in Major League Baseball, 45 minutes away from me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and also, Porter Park, the newest ballpark in Massachusetts, and it's actually the best one, according to minor league baseball. It's also it's a big hockey city as well. A bunch of hockey teams around here as well. That's what I love about Massachusetts, and we have the best doctors and hospitals here in Massachusetts. But the only reason why I want to go to LA is only for the winter time. Like if I can go to LA for just for February, or for at least 2 months or whatever part time, that would be awesome. But that's just telling you, if I only go to LA, that is one of the reasons, because I hate the weather here in Massachusetts. I hate it.
What's so fun? What's so strange is that for the past few years, Long Island hasn't really been hit with that too many blizzards as of late. Maybe it's probably because of how the weather is going.
Buffalo's a different animal than Long Island and New York City. Buffalo and Green Bay, they get hit the most.
Oh yeah, I remember my cousin, who actually went to a university over at Buffalo, can attest to this. He would literally have a huge amount of feet of snow, and then he would have to stay indoors in his dorm at the time, just to wait to get all the snow removed off of the walkways around his university that he actually graduated from.
Yeah, it's just, I hate the winter here in Massachusetts because, after December, once January hits, I don't like the winter because, for, November, December is fun, I love it, but once it's past January, I want that warm weather, so that's what I was talking about LA earlier. But, yeah, is there, anything else that you want to promote before we end this interview?
Well, actually, you can also, since I've mostly been doing Rant N Rave for a good while now, feel free just to stay tuned for every single Thursday night and whatnot, so you can catch the latest episode of Rant N Rave Podcast that I just feel so grateful of being part of, by expanding my, expanding my own horizons. And that honestly just makes me feel like a really better person. And then it really has really improved my social outlet, especially across online and outside the forums.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And is that it?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, we'll be right back after these words. Not going.
Are you looking for the most fun entertainment on YouTube? Then welcome to the Network 3000. We have game shows, vlogs, live streams, podcasts, live shows, sport videos, gaming videos, plus more. subscribe today. We hope you enjoy the Network 3000 on YouTube.
All right, everybody. I'm here with our guest here tonight for our next segment of this portion of the show. And please welcome our guests, Bill and John. How you doing, guys?
Hello.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be back, and I'm glad to be seen.
Yes, indeed. And today we are going to be doing some fantasy football talk, and also they'll be doing some topic segments after the fantasy football talk, which will be for about 30 minutes or so, depending on how successful things go. So I'll be backstage. Feel free to be able to share screen whenever you want. I'll make sure to keep an eye on it to have it be showcased and have fun with the program.
I will call you Puppet Masters for behind the scenes.
Maybe. All right.
Alrighty. So I think what we're going to do now is start into a conversation for about 15, 20 minutes on a topic that's near and dear to me. And John has informed me that he participates in what I'm going to talk about, so we can have it as a two-way and then a discussion with a possible audience if they ever want to email in or send in some messages. One of the things I have is I'm 51 years old and I'm a sports head. So I've been following sports ever since I came out of my mother's womb. I've been 50 years of being a sports fan, essentially. And I can remember back in the day, pre-internet, when stats for sports were tougher to come by.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember on Saturday mornings that for me, the local paper was the Toronto Star, and it would have all of the hockey and sports stats. And so I would lay on the living room floor, open up the newspaper, and go through every team, every player, every scenario that they've been up to, who's getting the most goals, etc. I used to do for baseball. And so for me, it's just a natural. I don't know about you, John, if you're a big sports fan or not.
Oh, yeah. Man, I mean, primarily baseball and football. I mainly follow those two. Basketball, hockey, not so much, but definitely baseball and football.
And who's your baseball team?
The New York Yankees.
Poor bastard.
And football, New York Giants.
I just read an article yesterday saying they could easily see the Giants being the worst team in the league this year.
I mean, I think they're going to be a last place team, but I wouldn't say the worst team overall.
I mean, if they can get Tyrone Tracy, is he going to be? Is it going to be Scattaboo? Is it going to be Wilson? Who are they going to throw the ball to? I don't know. I don't mind their defense so much. Right. They work hard, but I think offensively they're going to be challenged. Although I love them having Jameis Winston on the team because I think he's apparently just a glue guy in the locker room, and everybody loves him.
But I'll give him a couple of years to get there. I think they're getting close because I like Jackson Dart. So far, he's looking pretty good.
Well, yeah, because what I heard is that Jameis Winston is 2-year, $8 million contract, which is quite reasonable. Mm-hmm. And if Russell Wilson doesn't work out, or he does what he's supposed to do, but he's only there for a limited time, they like having Jameson in the locker room to kind of guide Dart. Because Jameson right now, depending upon your team, could start on some teams. Mm-hmm. And nobody's ever said he doesn't have God-given skill. It's his questionable throws at times.
Right.
He might throw for 30 touchdowns, but 28 interceptions.
Yes.
And that's what you're getting with Jameis. He's got a hell of an arm, but he needs consistency. He's very much the modern-day Vinny Testaverde.
Oh, yeah. Very good comparison there, yes.
Yeah. So, now, do you play fantasy football?
Yes. Yep. I've been playing roughly, I forget the exact year I started. I want to say 2017, 18, something like that.
Okay. Just going back to me, I've been playing fantasy football since before the internet became popular. So I remember going to bars. I remember going to workplace spots in the late 90s and early 2000s to hold drafts. And, you'd get the information from the newspaper the next day and you'd have to tabulate it by hand. Yeah. These kind of things. And I think I saw the very first recognized fantasy football team league has been going since '76.
Ooh.
But their scoring is much different. Their scoring is just about total touchdowns and total yards. And so it's a very different scoring system. They obviously just created it themselves, a bunch of guys in the basement in high school and figuring this stuff out. But to me, fantasy sports has reached a zenith because they now talk about it on the broadcasts. It's now impacting betting lines. Players are now feeling the flack from fans when they do crappy on their stats. And players have actually gone on to Twitter and said, enough. I don't care about my fantasy stats. I care if my team wins,
Exactly.
but the bettors will start hammering them. And, there's lucrative offers to referees to look the other way for calls. There was a baseball player, a pitcher the other day that got suspended, or at least he was told to stay off the field. I think he's getting paid without leave.
Bring Victor Robles. Are you talking about him?
No, I'm talking about there was a pitcher. I think it was was he the Pirates? I'm not sure. Arizona, somebody in the last couple of weeks where their pitches were unusual. And MLB told them to, I don't know if they're saying suspend you, but they're saying stay home with pay kind of deal until they investigate further. So all this to say that betting and fantasy are as strong now. You'll see commercials with Wayne Gretzky.
Right.
You'll see commercials with Tom Brady and these people promoting casinos. Is it MGM Grand or is it, whatever it is, Proline or whatever's in your area?
Right.
FanDuel. So to me, fantasy's reached its peak. Can you remember when you first started playing fantasy football? Do you remember your first ever draft pick?
I think I do. This one was actually kind of might be slightly embarrassing because I didn't know what I was doing.
Okay.
Most people say rule of thumb is you usually have to take a running back or a wide receiver first. I made the mistake of taking a quarterback. You wouldn't believe who it was. It was Cam Newton.
Well, you know what? Cam Newton had legs, so he's almost a pseudo running back. I mean,
True.
I think there was 1 year Newton might have got 1,000 yards, pretty close, 800 at least. But now here we can open up the discussion with quarterback isn't a dumb move depending upon the rules for your league.
Right.
So I have a pool I'm in that's $150 buy-in, and it's very touchdown heavy. I'm going to take a quarterback my first round.
Oh.
And it's a super flex league, which means one of the utility guys can be a quarterback as well. So you can get
yeah, very true.
So I'm going to potentially take 2 quarterbacks in my first 4 picks. Now,
okay. I guess in extended settings, that's very, very fair. But standard leagues, you don't want to typically take quarterbacks in the first round, unless it's like Josh Allen or something.
If you're a standard league and you've got 10 or 12 teams and it's just a redraft league, no, you're not going to.
Right.
But my league is also a keeper league, which means you can pick players and then keep them the next year. I play in that a couple different. I'm in 3 or 4 decent money pools. They're all keeper leagues. So, I mean, I know if I'm going in, for those listening, a keeper league means when you draft a team, you get to keep a certain number of players the next year, depending upon where you draft them.
Right.
And so I have one pool where your roster's 30 guys, and each year you keep any 20 you want. I have one pool where you draft players and you can keep as many as you want, but you have to increase the draft order rounds, three rounds each year. So if you drafted him in the 9th last year, he becomes a 6th rounder this year if you want to keep him. And then I have another pool where you go down. How many? I think it's another one where it's 3 rounds. You go down. But all of mine, half of mine are also, you include all the defense.
Ooh.
So linebackers, cornerbacks, D linemen, you have to draft them as well.
Oh, nice.
So I'll give you the question I would give any guest. Who would you draft first if this was a standard league, 12-team league, 6 points for a touchdown, thrown or run or received.
Huh.
If you could get the first pick in the draft, who would you take?
Oh, for like this season, right? Talk about current players,
for
right?
this upcoming season.
Oh, yes. If I had the first pick, well, I'm torn between two players, but from some like research like I did, I'm leaning towards Jamar Chase. But Bijan Robinson's a very close second.
Yeah, Bijan and Chase are kind of your quote unquote 1A, 1B, depending upon your settings and depending upon who else is in your league, and you kind of know tendencies of people. But yeah, those are generally I see the advantages to both.
Yes.
Like Bijan is going to touch the ball 30 times a game between running and catching.
Right.
Whereas Chase may not see as many, but Chase can be explosive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Chase can easily get 15 to 1,700 yards and 12 to 15 touchdowns. He could be Randy Moss out there if he wanted to be.
Yeah. Personally, when I'm playing, I like to be right in the middle as far as the picking order goes. That way, you don't have too many spaces to wait. Like the risk of being the number one pick, you got to wait a long time before you pick again.
Yeah, that, or I like being at the end.
True. Yeah, I'm picking last this season in my league. The way I structure my league now is based upon where you finish. You pick in reverse order for next year. Like hypothetically, since I won my league last season, I'm going last.
Yeah. See, I've got pools where they've stopped doing that because they don't want people to give up on their season to get that first pick.
Right.
So one thing, I don't know if any of your leagues have this, and anybody listening, if your leagues have this, we have a toilet bowl. Whereas we might have a 12-team league, the first 8 make the playoffs, the bottom 4 play for almost a consolation, but the winner of the consolation gets the third pick. First pick. So there's always incentive to keep winning.
Gotcha.
So nobody's throwing the ball away and dropping their team halfway through.
True.
But what's your most fond fantasy football memory or experience? Because there are a lot of listeners out there that might be thinking we're talking Spanish. They have no idea what we're talking about. So what's an experience you've had or a triumph you've had that made fantasy football fun for you, or what got you into the sport other than a friend saying, "Hey, do you want to play?"
I don't know. I think kind of what got me into fantasy football was just like reading about stats and stuff like that. I'm kind of intrigued by stats, like people breaking records and stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's get fantasy football and try and see how it compares to the real thing.
Yeah, and that's a great point of view, because I've long told people that you may know nothing about football, but if you know things about stats and tendencies, you can win it all.
Oh yeah.
I've known people to win football pools that choose based on the nationality of the player,
right?
Or how cute they look, or what. And honestly, that could be just as good a value as, like, I spend hours during the day listening to fantasy football podcasts, doing mock drafts and things like that. My daughter, who's 10, may very well pick players just as good, because a lot of it is randomness. You can only be prepared so much, because you can't account for injuries. You can't account for team style and play. You can't you can't always prep for field conditions. Right. I had a buddy one year who was in the final. No, he made it to the playoffs. He had the best record all season, but his starting quarterback was Tom Brady. And his first week of the playoffs, they had 1.5 feet of snow. You can prepare all you want. You can't prepare for Mother Nature,
Right.
So yeah. So have you ever? You said you won yours last year. How many times have you won your pool?
That was actually my very first win.
Oh, nice. Did you guys?
Yeah, I think my first season, I think I didn't make the playoffs, but I've made the playoffs ever since. I've always made it either to the semifinals or gotten knocked out in the first round. But I usually make the playoffs, though.
Does your league have trophies or awards or anything?
I think it used to do that. I play on via ESPN Fantasy. Okay. It's just like those regular just those generic trophies that they give you. I think they took away the customization thing. I don't think they have that anymore. I used to make like customizations on there, but I think that's gone now.
Yeah, we in pretty much all of our pools, we have a physical trophy.
Oh, nice.
That the winner gets, but then they also have to inscribe the little placard on the trophy for the next person the next year.
Ah, nice.
And my wife quite frequently is happy when I don't win because she doesn't have to see that ugly trophy sitting in the living room. So, especially when you get some of the names on them.
Yes.
That you might not want a 9 or 10-year-old to be looking at,
Gotcha.
But yeah. So have you ever done a draft where it's live with people?
Yes. One of my friends like runs a draft. We have a little, I wouldn't say a podcast per se, but we have like a little group where we do it right on StreamYard, just like this.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, we have, I do multiple a year, but my most fun each time is we have one live.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Everybody
those are
shows
awesome,
up.
Yeah.
And we've got a draft board with all the team names and stickers with each of the players that are going to be drafted. And we walk up and we can do music as we walk up if we want. It just depends on how enthusiastic we are towards it. But it's just guys shooting the shit and getting at each other that maybe haven't seen each other for a while. And it's our reason to get together. So I really
absolutely
enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah. We get like, we joke around with each other like hey, I was about to take that guy. Wow, one away.
Or you can make fun of the guy's pick. You loser. Why would you take him? Didn't you know he has a bad hamstring or whatever,
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And I mean, to me, there's always certain rules for those things. One, comfortable clothes. It's not the time to wear tight pants to a football. Yeah. Make sure you have good snacks.
Good snack, absolutely. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, good snacks. Make sure whatever libation you want, you've got. We used to have one where we would walk in and we would just order a keg.
Nice.
There'd be a keg right at the front, and you just wander up whenever you want to get a beer.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to smoke a joint, just make sure you're outside, so it doesn't necessarily stink up the house.
Yes.
Bring your whatever. If you have marijuana gummies, that's fine. If you have a Swedish fish, that's fine. Whatever it is that makes your creature comforts, and make sure you're in a good vibe, because there's nothing worse than being with a bunch of guys or gals and everybody's all tense. Well, you're there for fun, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So why would you? So if you were to have a draft party, what would be your walk-up music?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
But like a walk-up song. Ooh.
Yeah, at the 11-12 turn, John Natale is coming up, but you're now going to be like a UFC fighter or a WWE wrestler.
I'm going to say the first song that probably comes to my mind, I want to say Welcome to the Jungle.
You know where you are? You're in the jungle, baby. That's awesome. Yeah, I depends on my mood. Last time I did it, sure. I came down to the Trooper by Iron Maiden.
Oh,
or I do like Working Man by Rush, or something like that, just to crank her up. And so, yeah, I have a couple articles here on how to, have a good party, but we've done them. We've both been there. We know what it takes. Make sure the kids are upstairs, and if the kids are downstairs, they're going to hear some words they don't normally hear Daddy say.
Yes, exactly.
So I was just going under the fantasy rules and all that, and all the players and all that. And there's different strategies that you can use. The one I usually end up using is you just take the best player available. You can base it, before you're getting into these leagues, make sure you know the rules and what your points are. Like some leagues value the tight end. Yep. Some leagues value defensive takeaways. So, some of them value touchdowns thrown more than touchdowns run. Right. So make sure you know the quirks of your league and that kind of thing.
Yep.
And go in, and a little bit of showmanship amongst the players is always welcomed.
Mm-hmm.
But, there's a difference between showmanship and being rude. And you got to walk that. You got to walk that line. And, some of these ones I'm involved with are like an all-day thing almost.
Right.
But like some of them you do online, you can do in an hour.
Oh yeah.
Just whip through them.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff. But you could do it. So if you were going to, in your home league, based on the settings of your home league,
mm-hmm.
Who would you take first? Like, I know we discussed it. Would you take
like position wise? You're saying?
Yeah. Or do you have a set strategy, or do you go with how does the board fill? Like some people say, I'm gonna take a running back.
Yeah. I mean, I typically like to go wide receiver first. Sometimes they tend to score high value points. Like, so we'll talk about patterning. I took a big risk last season. It paid off. Round I normally don't do it, but in rounds 1, 2, and 3 last season, I took all wide receivers. And
that's good to do. If you think that's your jam,
mm-hmm.
nobody's going to say no. Because at the end of the season, did you win?
Yeah. But normally I like to fill up my running backs and my wide receivers in the first 4 rounds, and typically I'll wait till maybe round 5 or 6 to take my quarterback.
Yeah, well, like it's funny. Like in years past, they always used to say, "Take your running backs first."
Because you're, especially if you're in a PPR league, because points per reception. When the running backs catch passes, that counts.
Absolutely. The problem is with that nowadays, as the game's evolving, is there's very few bell cow running backs left.
Right.
There's not many Le'Veon Bells or Emmitt Smiths that will get your 300 handoffs a year.
Yeah, one person I think that screams bell cow right now is probably Saquon Barkley. As a Giants fan, I have fond memories of him.
Oh, Saquon's great, and he's only like 28. But for a running back at 28, who's had the volume of opportunities that he's had over the years, by 31, good God, he's gonna hurt himself just doing up his shoes.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey can do it too when he's healthy, but I think he's a huge draft risk. I would not. I'm probably not going to draft him. Way too risky.
I like McCaffrey. I really like, but I have also known people that have been burned by him in the past.
Yes.
So like he might last till 6, and at 6 he might be worth taking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you take Christian McCaffrey or Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Ooh, that's a really tough one.
That would be about number 6.
Yeah, I think between those two, I think I would go with the one who's the healthier player right now. I'd probably take Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, unless I need a running back, but I mean,
in the first round, you just take what you think's best, right? Your first round, you don't want to mess up. But would you rather take Christian McCaffrey chance or Puka Nacua?
Oh, yeah, that's a very good point.
You have to worry about Matthew Stafford's health.
True. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the quarterback too plays a role. Whoever their quarterback is.
These are all these things. There's scheme things. Like with the Eagles with Saquon. You know that if they get the lead, then they're just going to suck it up to the running back, right?
Yep, exactly. I think David wrote a comment. Explain to the folks what you mean by 6. We're talking about if we had the 6th pick in the draft. I think that was what we were saying.
Yes, the 6th pick, because normally most leagues are 12 teams.
Yeah.
I'm involved in some 14 teamers. I'm involved in a couple 16 teamers.
Ooh.
And the 16 teamers with a full defense. But in terms of or 6 in terms of 6 points for a touchdown.
Yes.
So like let's say Aaron Rodgers throws an 80-yard TD pass to who's this guy now? DK Metcalf.
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers would get 6 points for throwing it, and Metcalf would get 6 points for receiving it. So the way fantasy football works is you accrue the points, and either you are in a rotisserie format, which means all the points add up,
right?
Or you're head-to-head, where you're just competing against the next person in the league that has a team, and you're head-to-head for instead of competing against everybody, and then your record accumulates. Right? Is your league a head-to-head, or is it rotisserie?
Wait.
Or points based? Some of them are points based.
Yeah, it's all points based. It's PPR. 6 points per touchdown, I believe, and then one point for every 10 yards.
And do you have head-to-head at the end of each week, or you are how you are against everybody else? Like it's a competitive, the computer will keep track of all the points for you.
Yeah, it keeps track.
Okay. Yeah. See, I like being on the 11-12 turn, or the 12-1 turn.
Mm-hmm.
Except the thing with when you're down there is you might not get the player you want unless you reach for him.
Yes.
Because he won't be there by the time he comes around to you.
Right.
So if you want to get that sleeper running back, he won't.
Be aggressive early.
Be aggressive early. But I would not be afraid to be aggressive with Christian McCaffrey if you're willing to take that chance. If he stays healthy, he may very well win you the league.
Yes.
But by week 3, he could pull a groin.
Right. Absolutely.
And you're out of luck.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing I like about fantasy football is it's very subjective. It doesn't matter if you're male, if you're female, if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're black, if you're Asian, if you're big or you're small, if you're new, it holds no punches. Anybody can do well. Anybody can compete. It's that natural, equalizer, because you can do all the research you want, and then your quarterback blows a shoulder in the week 1.
Oh,
you could have drafted Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago.
Right.
Right. And he got 4 plays in and the season is done.
Right?
Or if you had McCaffrey, like last year, McCaffrey started great until he didn't.
Yep.
And it's a matter of avoiding injuries and keeping guys at their pace that they need to be at.
Yes.
Might not be the smartest thing to take the field goal kicker for Buffalo.
Right.
Because the snow it affects it, right? But then if you're going to win the field goal kicking job in Buffalo, it's because you can kick in those conditions, right? So, the Green Bay kicker is Danny McManus. I love Danny McManus, but the conditions at Lambeau in November aren't always the best.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remember them. I think many years ago when the Giants. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say you might remember the NFC Championship game from 2007. It was minus I think 13-degree wind chill.
Who was that? Who was playing?
I want to say it was the 2007 NFC Championship game between the Giants and the Packers.
Oh, Giants Packers. Yep.
Yeah, Lawrence Hines kicked the game-winning field goal that sent them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there was the one game in the early 80s where the Patriots were playing somebody, I can't remember. And it was snow so bad that they brought a guy out who was on a work release program with the local jail to come out and clear off the snow. So the kicker would have a full and they were afterwards they were like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
You can't do that. But
yeah.
To me, this is my favorite time of the year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This is because hockey season's starting up. We've got pennant races wrapping up. We've got the NBA starting to get going. The European soccer's going. I love this time. If college football is starting up,
everybody's competing for the ratings.
Well, that's it. And it's one of those things where I can flip around literally and watch sports from 7 a.m. if I'm home, and I have I'm not until 2 in the morning.
Oh yeah. You got multiple devices, watch so many stuff at the same time.
I mean, last night at midnight, I was watching Spanish League soccer.
Oh wow!
It is what it is, no apologies. What's your favorite sport, John?
Yeah. Baseball. Baseball is my first favorite, and then football.
Okay, so who would be your favorite? You're a Yankee fan. Who's your favorite player?
Current or all time?
Oh, a good one. Both.
Current player, Aaron Judge. All time, Yogi Berra.
Oh, Yogi. You see a fork in the road, take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I got my Aaron Judge shirt on.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen Judge play many times. I've been to the old Yankee Stadium. I haven't been to the new Yankee Stadium. Have you been to both?
Yes. Well, I grew up in New Jersey, so I went to the old stadium several times. I was born in New Jersey, so
we went down there. Oh, it's got to be 15, 20 years ago. And we didn't have tickets, and we didn't realize you can't scalp tickets outside Yankee Stadium.
Right.
We were looking for scalpers, right?
Right.
So we asked some guy, and some guy that looked pretty questionable said, "Hey, come here, guys, come here." So I guess across the hall or across the street from Yankee Stadium is a bowling alley, or the old Yankee Stadium was a bowling alley. So we went back there. The guy gives us 2 tickets. He knocked on a door, and we had to pretend we were employees for the local electrical service. like P&G or something like, and we got in, and we got to the stadium. What's your favorite stadium you've been to? Any sport?
I've only been to a couple of stadiums in my lifetime. I want to say, if I had to pick one, I mean, I'm not a big basketball fan, but I did enjoy the old New Jersey Nets home court when there were the Nets at the time.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I've been to lots for different sports. I quite enjoy. I liked going to Boston. Fenway Park is something to behold. PNC in Pittsburgh is beautiful.
Oh, nice.
PNC in Pittsburgh's nice, and is Comerica in Detroit. It's a nice stadium too. Now out our way, they now call it Rogers Center. It used to be Skydome. They've been doing some improvements in the last while, but it's a lot of concrete. Like they can make it like they've got every level's got different bars, and one of them's got like a dance club, and I'm like, I'm just looking for a bloody hot dog. So now it's story time. Okay, let's see. What's story time? Oh, okay. Anything I can think of. Okay, so John can participate in this too.
Sure.
I don't want to just hog all the spotlight or anything. I was trying to think about something, and I'm a music guy. I love music. So I'm going to ask you a question, and we can both go back and forth. What's the greatest concert you've ever been to?
Actually, I've never been to a concert. I've always wanted to go to one, so it's kind of a.
Oh, really? You've never gone to a concert? Okay.
I mean, unless you count like little. Well, I don't know how to describe it. Like you know how there's like those little like tribute bands that like. When you see like those type of things, like little tribute guys that play music, like that type of thing.
But you've never been to a
not a physical concert.
20,000 people in a
right now.
Okay, so I was going to say the one that I can remember best. There was a concert in Toronto in 2003 called SARS Fest. You remember SARS?
Sounds familiar.
It was an autoimmune disease, and people were getting them, and it really affected Southern Ontario. And so a bunch of the nurses were working way overtime, and doctors and people died, etc. So to get the province feeling better, they held this big concert. And it was the Rolling Stones, it was AC/DC, it was the Guess Who, it was Rush, it was Justin Timberlake, it had the Blues Brothers, it had the Flaming Lips, it had the Tea Party, amongst others, and there were 500,000 people there.
Oh, nice.
500,000. And we camped out at my friend's store across the street the night before and got involved with some of the roadies and that kind of thing. And AC/DC live was absolutely amazing. First time I'd ever seen them live, and they blew the Rolling Stones off the stage.
Oh, nice.
The Rolling Stones, they were okay. There's nothing wrong with them, but AC/DC blew them away. Rush was great. The Guess Who was great. Justin Timberlake, I felt bad for him because he came out to support the cause, but it's a rock and roll crowd It's not a dance crowd. So at some point, somebody threw a water bottle at him on stage, and Keith Richards had to say, "Hey, guys, can't be doing that."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 500,000 people. It was something. The row of porta potties was here till you couldn't even stop seeing.
Oh, jeez.
So I saw Rush, their final tour in Toronto. That was just phenomenal. I've been to AC/DC as close as 10, 20 feet away. You can see the sweat rolling down Angus's neck. I've seen Foreigner 7 times.
Nice.
Rush 6 times. I'm going to go see Alice Cooper and Judas Priest.
Ooh.
In September, and on Saturday I'm seeing 9 Inch Nails.
Nice.
So if you could see any band right now, who would you go see?
I'd probably maybe not the most fancy pick, but I've always been a big fan of Bon Jovi. He's probably my favorite artist, so he'd be probably my first pick.
Yeah, I've read about him lately. There was a while there where, quite frankly, he couldn't sing.
Mm-hmm.
There were all these videos floating around, these viral videos that blow up of him, and he couldn't hold a note.
Oh,
But it turns out he had a medical condition with his throat. And I think he's since had surgery, and I think he's back, or they're working to get back. I'm not sure. People that are Bon Jovi heads will know better than I, but his reputation was getting sullied for a while there because the video, it was like the Vince Neil from Motley Crue. It was the same kind of thing. I've only got really one band left that I want to see that I haven't, and that's probably Metallica.
Oh, that's a good choice. I like that one.
I've had the opportunity to see them, but like they're $250 for a ticket to go see them. I'm paying $165 to see 9 Inch Nails. I've never seen them before, but I get to hear Closer to God and Hurt and Head Like a Hole and all those bangers. Don't worry, I'll have a joint. I'll be rocking and rolling with the crowd.
Oh, yeah. Definitely can't go wrong with rock music.
No.
Rock music is awesome.
And the problem is, like I'm at a point now where I don't pay attention to the current musical trends.
Yeah, me neither.
So I don't know if rock and roll is dying or is rock and roll gonna emerge again, maybe in a different form.
Yeah, I could see that.
Kind of like in the early 90s when grunge came out of nowhere and got rid of the hairband stuff.
Right.
And 9 Inch Nails kind of came up through that. And then there's still bands like The Who that are still playing since the 1964.
Yeah, those guys, a lot of those guys in the 70s, they still got it.
And what I like, and I try telling the kids now, it's not that I think the musicians were better then, because there's always going to be good musicians, no matter where. Nowadays, there's some amazing heavy metal musicians, country musicians, pop soloists. There's all kinds. The difference is back then you couldn't hide it.
Right.
There's no backing vocals in a concert. There's no auto tune. There's no visual stimulants to distract you from the main stage. If you couldn't cut it, it was very obvious.
Right.
Whereas, like if you isolate the vocals of some of the songs back then that weren't auto-tuned, they had to have skill.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you listen to I'm not a big fan of Journey, but if you listen to Steve Perry's isolated vocals, the computer couldn't do it any better.
Right.
Freddie Mercury, Paul Rogers, Ronnie James Dio. They don't no auto-tune. Can you imagine trying to give auto-tune to Ozzy Osbourne? You'd be too drunk and high to say fuck off and one.
Right.
So that's why I'm not saying that they're better musicians per se, but they had to be able to perform.
Right.
And I mean, that's, I think, kind of led to the rise of punk music, because punk music, 3 chords and a speaker and you're good to go.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't need to know. Nobody ever said. I'm not saying they're bad musicians because I quite like the energy that the punk aspect gave, but I don't want to. No Sex Pistols song was longer than 3.5 minutes. Probably closer to 2 minutes. All right. So, any last comments? Okay, I'll give David. Just give me one moment. If there's any band that you could call out for to have a concert in your backyard, other than Bon Jovi.
Right.
You got your buddies coming over for hot dogs and weenies and, dip. And who do you want playing?
Ooh, I think I got an interesting one here. I'm going to go with Kiss.
Kiss. I've seen him live twice. I had Gene. He had like his outfit on it. I was maybe 10 feet from the stage.
Yeah.
He looked right at me and moved his groin.
Well, I want to see though Ace Frehley like make a return to Kiss.
Ace. Oh yeah. Okay. Ace.
Ace Frehley.
Ace is good. I like Ace. He's the one guy in the band that'll just say what's on his mind.
Oh yeah.
He's not afraid to hold back.
Exactly.
If only Michael Jackson were alive, David says. Yeah, I remember specifically the day he passed on.
Yeah.
It was one of the last days of the school year one year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fantastic musician. You can't argue with him. Maybe his lifestyle choices, but not his music. Anyways, okay. On to the article. Now, I'll put it in the description for you because I want you to be able to read along with me.
Alrighty.
This one will make you laugh. I found this in a quick search. I just typed in weird news articles.
Weird news.
So this will be the news article. David, hopefully this doesn't get you blackmarked. It says, this is from the New York Post, published August 14th by Ben Cost. Here is the headline. Man with world's largest willy slips. Breaks his arm in the shower because giant penis got in the way. It was a very embarrassing accident.
Oh, man. Oh, wow.
So I'll read the first part here. Okay, Dave, tell me if we've gone too far, but I burst out laughing. Being well endowed isn't all it's cracked up to be. We've heard of people whose mammoth members have injured their partners. However, a UK man with the world's largest Johnson recently reportedly hurt himself after slipping and breaking his arm in the shower because his giant tallywhacker got in his way.
Oh, wow.
It was a very embarrassing accident, Matt Barr told Jam Press of the phallus-induced injury. The AI specialist frequently goes viral for his enormous unit, which is 14.5 inches long, is reportedly the biggest medically proven penis in the world. Barr has even cast his Jumbo Johnson at the Phalliological Museum in Iceland. Oh, I know where I'm going next summer.
Oh, man.
A preternaturally big penis might sound like a blessing, but there are a myriad of downsides, including struggling to get dressed, feeling faint while erect, and bizarre positions, which he details in his book, A Long Story Life with One of the World's Longest Penises. I could keep going on and on and on about the story.
Oh, man.
It's an interesting article, but it's one of those things where, that's not a problem that very few people have to deal with, particularly when it's only half the population, and then that percentage is crazy.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of like the people with the longest like fingernails. Like how do they do that?
The fingernails, or the one that always are the people with the braids. I just posted an article on the my podcast, Music, Movies, Sports, and Stuff, about a beard growing competitions. They have the competitions for the beard growers, and they're all elaborate with the wax and looks like an octopus. It looks very Lovecraftian coming out of his, Okay,
yeah,
so
people who braid their beards like go crazy too, like braid it.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'll just go over one more quickly, so we're not in the gutter. 3 elves are cycling from the German town of St. Nicholas to Finland's Santa Claus village. Okay. Santa's elves start early in Germany. 3 postal workers set off Saturday on their nearly 3,000-kilometer bicycle journey from St. Nicholas, Germany to the small town of Rovaniemi, Finland. which is home to Santa Claus Village, according to the German news agency DPA. The cyclists are traveling north to bring letters and Christmas wish lists addressed to Santa Claus from St. Nicholas in Germany's Saarland state to the winter-themed amusement park perched at the edge of the Arctic Circle. St. Nicholas himself, with his long purple cape and tall golden staff, was on hand Saturday to hand over the letters to the three elves. The trip will take roughly 2 weeks as the three cycle through Germany, Denmark, and Sweden en route to Finland. So I guess we now know what Santa does in the off season.
Oh.
He's waiting for these guys in Germany to show up in their bikes
Mm-hmm.
to ride the. You know what? Santa's probably got so much stuff to carry that this is like extra help for him.
Right.
somebody to do his dirty work for him. All right. So now that we've got the funny article out of the way with, throwback topic. Do you have any idea for this one? Retro stories. Something of your youth that we can either chastise modern America or ingratiate modern America with your stories.
Let me see. Well, okay, we'll maybe go back to sports for a moment. Do you remember your very first sports game that you went to? And what was that? What was that experience like? Your very first game.
Yeah, I would have been so young. My dad would have probably taken me to see the Toronto Maple Leafs or the Oshawa Generals, which is the junior hockey. More likely. I can remember seeing the Toronto Blue Jays at their previous stadium, exhibition stadium, when Danny Ainge was playing third base. That's how long ago I saw them. But yeah, I hockey, baseball. I wouldn't have gone to football. There was no NBA team when I was a kid in Toronto. And CFL, Canadian Football League. I don't think my dad. So I'm pretty sure it's either Blue Jays or Maple Leafs.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, my very first one was in 1995. It was the Yankees were playing the Oakland Athletics at the time, and a player I remember seeing way back in the day. He actually played for the Yankees at one point, but he wasn't A at the time. Ricky Henderson. I got to see him play, which was pretty cool.
I saw Ricky play a bunch of times because he played for Toronto.
Yeah.
He scored the tying run when Joe Carter hit the World Series winning home run in '93.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, Ricky does Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. That leads to the question: who's the greatest player you ever saw play?
Ooh, greatest player I ever saw. Let's see.
I have two.
I didn't really see too many greats. I mean, I was born in the late '80s, so I didn't really see a lot of games back then. So I'm more familiar with like the '90s.
But if you were with the Yankees, then you would have saw Derek Jeter, A-Rod.
Yeah. I probably would say Jeter. That sounds like too cliche. Like a lot of people would say Jeter, but I probably have to go with him, being that I grew up in the '90s. I would have to probably by default have to say him.
Hey, who's the bad catcher?
The bad catcher at the time?
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of their catchers.
Yeah.
I know Posada
was Joe Girardi the catcher?
Yeah, he was. I think he was in the late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
I remember there was him. There was Posada.
Yeah, Posada. That's the other one. Posada. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Posada. So I was sitting there thinking. I was talking to my daughter the other day. She just turned 10, and so that can tie into this. Do you think kids nowadays would know what a collect call would be?
I would probably highly unlikely because they're all stuck on their cell phones all day, stuff like that. They all day would know is apps.
No, but conceptually, would they understand what it means?
Possibly, I think so.
Call? Oh, I forgot. I didn't talk about my baseball. The greatest player I think I ever saw play, I saw so many good ones. I've seen Barry Bonds, and I've seen McGuire, and I've seen, Jack Morris at his peak. And I think I will go, Roy Halladay. He was great to see.
Oh, yeah.
And before the pitch clock, my dad and I loved seeing Halliday because he was fast.
Mm-hmm.
He'd just get up there. But the two was Robbie Alomar.
Mm-hmm.
Roberto Alomar could hit for home, or hit for power, hit for speed, hit for doubles. He could steal. His glove was Gold Glove winning. Now, he was a bit of a jerk.
Right.
But I don't care what they're like off the field as long as you're not, assaulting people.
Exactly.
The other one I saw live at Wrigley Field. They were playing the Cubs were playing the Reds, and this would have been in about 2001 maybe. Ken Griffey Jr.
Mm.
I saw him a bunch of times when he was with Seattle, but I was literally 5 feet from him the whole time, and he was playing it up with the people. I was sitting with the bleacher creatures out in Wrigley. He was great because at that point in his career, he'd been in it long enough that he knew when people were being mean and when they were just being funny.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see him a couple times covering his face, and he's laughing with the gloves in front of his face. Dave said, from the past, Ortiz, and right now, Ohtani.
Mm.
Ohtani would be great to see. Yeah, live now. You know who I want to see live, who I haven't, is Mason Miller, the reliever.
The reliever for the A's, I think?
He was the A's. He got traded to
right.
the National League. But,
yeah,
I mean, he can throw it like 103.
Mm.
I remember seeing years ago, I went to a few times, the Montreal Expos. And the Montreal Expos, made sure I made a trek down for their final season because I wanted 1996, I think. And Mark Pryor was pitching for the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, could he whip that ball.
Yeah.
I remember going to Philadelphia, and I saw it was an unknown pitcher for Philly called Aaron Nola against Pedro Martinez.
Right.
And that was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. One more thing. Do you think kids would know how to open a pop bottle?
Yeah, I think they'll mean it might be a little tough for them, but I think they'll eventually figure it out. Yeah, kids these days they're getting smarter. Like the kids are our future, basically, is what we can say.
It's funny. Like, I don't want to get on a rant, whatever. But it's funny, when I started working in the workforce in the late 90s, the people now enter the workforce thinking everything should be on a silver plate for them.
Yeah, true.
Oh, I've heard of people quitting jobs after 2 weeks and stuff. Back then, you took it.
Right.
It was part of the process. You got shit on when you were younger, and then you give it the shit on people when you got older. It was just the way of the workforce. And nowadays, everybody's so sensitive that I don't know that, honestly, many people, not many, there's a certain percentage of people from the ages of 20 to 25 that could not survive and wouldn't have survived in today's when I started working.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that that's a shift in values, or because I know my dad was in management side. And he goes, yeah, the last few years of work, just everything was out the yin-yang compared to when he started. But that's another one of those get off my lawn subjects.
Right.
And I hate being negative. I try to be positive as possible. So we'll end it up with this. If you could be the director of a major motion picture being approved by one of the major studios, what movie would you want to direct?
Mm.
Oh, and it can't be Marvel. None of that crap. It has to be an original movie.
So I could pick. You talk about like any movie from any time period.
Anything.
Oh,
that you get to direct the next version of.
Oh,
like if you want to remake the Maltese Falcon, go ahead.
Oh, I want to say Rocky.
You want to do an updated version of Rocky?
Yeah, I enjoy it. That's one of my favorite movie franchises.
Yeah, that's a cool. Paulie. I love Paulie.
Yes.
Grabbing for the chicken. I like grabbing. Yeah, I don't know what I'd want. Maybe I'd want to. I come up with something original.
Ah.
Maybe I'm a horror guy, So maybe I could come up with some kind of horror in school.
Oh, nice.
Because I'm a teacher. So I get between my love and my, there's always been a cool one with like The Faculty. Have you seen The Faculty?
I might have, but I can't recall.
Okay, look up The Faculty.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it. All right. So now we're going to talk about what we're thankful for. What are you thankful for, John?
Probably basically like my health, like friends, family, basically all that good stuff, essentially.
Awesome.
Have a house, home, things like that.
I am thankful for my wife and my daughter. I would not be where I am without them. My mom and dad. I'm very thankful for living in a country where I don't have to worry about what I say.
Right.
Well, I do. I mean, you have to be respectful, but you have the ability to say things. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I enjoy and appreciate my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy a nice 2 pounds of hot chicken wings.
Oh, nice. Oh, I love hot stuff, yes.
Give me a pound of wings, a rack of ribs.
Ribs, yep.
And a mashed potato with some sour cream and cheese and bacon.
Oh, yeah, all that barbecue stuff, yes.
Yeah. For dessert, give me some pecan pie, and I'm a happy man.
Nice.
So, what food-wise, what would be your death row meal?
Oh, I was thinking about asking you that same thing. Ooh, probably like a big Italian feast, like chicken parmesan, like big ziti, like garlic bread.
You're obviously Italian. Does your family have a big get together where there's a whole table full of pasta and chicken and?
Not really. Maybe on Christmas, but other than that, not really.
Okay. Because I grew up in a neighborhood where I was the white guy. I was the munja cake, and everyone else was Italian.
Oh, wow.
So I was the one that was whenever the ball had to play road hockey, I had to go chase it. Let the munja cake go get it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And there were guys, but as a result of it, I understand the Italian culture a bit more, and they're just loud and verbose. They're not being mean; they're just loud.
Right, exactly.
Whereas I remember going to a teacher conference with my daughter, and she said, "We come from an Italian family. We're loud." I'm like, "You can hear a pin drop in our house."
Yep, that is true. Very true.
It is true. So we are thankful for our family, our loved ones, and
food,
professional sports and food.
Mm-hmm.
David, what are you appreciative for there right now?
Not being in the hospital.
Well, hey, there's always a positive. And maybe as a result of your malady, you lose some weight. Think of the positive side.
Mm-hmm. And what is you guys' favorite holiday season, like holiday of all the year?
Sorry, what was that? What was the question?
What is your favorite holiday?
What is my favorite holiday? I would say one is Christmas because I like seeing people open gifts. I don't necessarily care about getting them. I like seeing people open them.
Yes.
And then Halloween. I'm just a horror guy. I love Halloween.
What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I like Christmas too for the same reasons as Bill just said. Yeah, I mean, plus it's also very colorful. Seeing all the cool decorations.
Somebody with the last name
houses.
With the last name Natale, better say Christmas.
Yeah, actually, you might not know this, but my last name translates to Merry Christmas in Italian.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You already said that, so you already knew that. And then the second would be like Thanksgiving. Enjoy the get together with family, friends, and then seeing all the football games on Thanksgiving is pretty cool.
That's true. Let the tryptophan kicked in. Heavy wine, gravy, and turkey.
Yep.
Yeah, my favorite is Christmas because not just because of the lights and gifts and family and everything, but also the Christmas music that's on the radio. That's just a beautiful time of the
awesome. And I like the food. I like being able to sit in my pajamas at 2 p.m. and it's socially acceptable.
So is your favorite holiday December or October?
Mine, I would probably say December. Okay. Again, because I love seeing, we've already started preparing Christmas shopping. I start ahead of time so that in December I don't have a $3,000 MasterCard bill. So if you chunk it all the way up, by the time you get to December, you're mostly done.
Mm-hmm.
So I like putting the time and doing it then as opposed to having to scramble.
Exactly.
September 18th.
Yeah, avoid the crowds and stuff like that.
Yeah, for me, it's like between October and December because October is my birthday month and it's also MLB season. But, after Valentine's Day, it's going to put Christmas music, so that's what I also love about that, type of, part of the year. So, I really love it.
I gotta say, the one part of Christmas I can't stand is the music. I can't stand hearing Silent Night. I mean, having to hear "Oh Come All Ye Faithful." Being a teacher, I've heard that crap for 25 years. I don't want to hear it anymore.
And you still
especially when you're in the stores and then, it's like on autoplay, it repeats.
Yeah, if I'm buying, Frosted Flakes, do I want to hear, Silent Night again? I do.
By the way, I wanted to say something about Ohtani real quick.
Okay.
I believe being one of the only people that can actually see an Ohtani home run as an Angel live at Fenway Park because I went back in May in 2021 where it was right at the start of his prime and also it was not a full capacity crowd, remember, because of COVID starting in late April and early May. People were allowed to get more to the crowd because they changed the size of the capacity up and down. But so I was lucky enough to get tickets, and now I am the only, I can actually tell people I saw Ohtani hit a home run at Fenway Park as both an Angel and a Dodger. Because I'm not trying to be selfish here. It's just that people are talking about him becoming the next Babe Ruth. I don't know what you guys think about that because it's way too early to tell. But is he really the next Babe Ruth?
Ohtani's a unicorn. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He's a unicorn. He's like Dave Winfield. Like Dave Winfield got drafted into NBA, the NFL, and the basketball, football, baseball. So
He's a great player.
Yeah, and he's a fantastic player. And I think he got drafted in the NBA despite the fact he didn't play college ball.
Is he more of a Padre or a Yankee
to me, he's more of a Yankee, but then I always see him as a Blue Jay. He got the game-winning World Series hit in 1992.
Okay.
But, I mean, essentially, he's a Yankee. But he did come up through the Padres. You're absolutely right. It's like, do you think of Reggie Jackson as a Yankee or as an Oakland A?
I mean, a Yankee because he did more stuff for the postseason for the Yankees than the A's.
Or do you consider
he's more famous for the playoffs?
Do you consider Nolan Ryan an Angel, an Astro, or a Ranger, or a Met?
I say Angel because that's what he was.
Yeah. See, I always think of him in Houston with those uniforms with had like a rainbow across your belly. Like I always think of those jerseys. Yeah.
But to me, I think if we back to Reggie Jackson, if you think of his entire career, I think he belongs as an A because it was right during that three-peat era of the A's. And
those A's teams had Gene Tettleton, Gene Tennis, Vida Blue, the whole killer's row of hitters.
He was spending more time there than the Yankees. It's just that he's more famous as a Yankee because of that 3 home run game.
Yeah, I mean, I think he might have played for the Yankees 7-8 years, and he might have won 3 or 4 World Series. That's the thing. That's why they remember him.
Yeah.
But probably, in totality, played more for Oakland. I'd have to look it up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I think Dave Winfield is more of a Padre because of his beef with the boss. So that's why I say that because he got a lot of trouble as a Yankee. But
impressive. There's so many good players out there. Like, I've seen many times Mike Trout, and Mike Trout is he's a freak in nature.
I also got to see Quentin Kershaw pitch at Fenway recently this year, and thank God, because I always wanted to see him pitch. I mean, 3,000 strikeouts, you may never see that again from any player currently.
Sorry, John, who did you want to say?
No, I didn't say anything. You're good.
Okay.
Because he's one of my favorite pitchers to watch, Kershaw, and I'm glad I was able to see him live.
Okay, why don't we end it with this? If you were to go to a ballpark,
yes,
who would you want to see bat against which pitcher?
All time or
all time?
All time. Okay, let's see.
No, put it this way: somebody that you've seen in your lifetime. So,
okay,
I don't want you to pull Sandy Koufax versus Babe Ruth.
Yeah. So you're saying that I've seen in my lifetime. No,
yeah.
Okay.
I'll start. I would love to see Dennis Eckersley face Aaron Judge. Because Dennis Eckersley basically threw one pitch, but he threw it very well. And Aaron Judge is nothing but a home run hitter. Who wins? Technique versus power.
John?
I don't know who would win that.
Okay, so basically we're looking for like stuff that's like a matchup that's never that mathematically cannot happen, but something we would ideally want to see. Basically, you're going that route.
It might have happened. Like you might want to see Roger Clemens against Mark McGwire. Maybe.
Okay, something like that. Let's see. My favorite player of all time my favorite player from the '90s was Ken Griffey Jr. So I'll probably go with him.
Yep.
And then pitching. Who would I want to see?
I mean, it could be somebody right now. I mean.
Oh wait, I think I got an interesting one here. I'm going to go with
I'd love to see
Tom Glavine.
Yeah. See, I would love to see Mark Maddox.
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking about a Braves pitcher, but I ended up picking.
Glavine's good too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Either one of them versus Ken Griffey Jr.
Which they probably did. You look up the stats. But wouldn't it be neat to see somebody like Sammy Sosa go against Max Scherzer?
Ooh.
I saw Max Scherzer pitch for the AAA teams.
Or somebody like Rafael Palmeiro go against Aroldis Chapman.
You know what? I would like to see, despite the fact I saw him in the minor leagues, I still count because he's a major leaguer. I'm going to say Max Scherzer against Ohtani.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Ortiz.
Well,
you know who I want to see? Ortiz against Hunter Green.
Oh, that'd be an interesting one.
Because Hunter Green, doesn't he throw it about 105?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Ortiz, which is old, slow, big, but power.
Mm.
Yeah.
That would be
now,
cool.
as for Ortiz, I'll say Kershaw versus Ortiz.
Okay. Yeah. See, I just like seeing the contrast. So, like, Nolan Ryan, pure power against, like, Rod Carew, which is nothing but, technique.
Mm-hmm.
Or, something like, I'm sure that they battled back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm. But, anyway, that'll be for this part here of the show. I want to thank Bill for helping me take over because I am not fully recovered enough for able to host a show right now, so thank you very much for being live.
I'm your phone a friend, David. I'm your phone a friend.
No one here, yes. And thank you to John for participating.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Alrighty. Well, if anybody enjoyed listening to me, or you just think, "Oh, that Bill, I just want to throw him out the window." Either way, I get a response, and that's fine with me. If you want to check me out, I just started my own solo cast called Music, Movies, Sports, and Stuff. I'm on all your major players. And I'm also co-host of Land of the Creeps Horror Podcast, where we look an irreverent look at horror movies and horror cinema. And check us out there, www.landofthecreeps.blogspot.com. And I'm also a contributor to Horror Movie Podcast, where I do some Tubi reviews. It's been a blast. Thank you, David, anytime. John, anytime. And,
Thank you.
We'll make this something on the regular.
Yes, indeed. And John, anything you want to promote?
What are you saying, David? I couldn't hear you.
Anything you want to promote, John?
No, well, not particularly, but well, I'll just say if you guys are fantasy football fans, watch us. We run shows typically on Fridays mostly. Fantasy Football Fever. You can find it on Tim McClelland's YouTube channel. I believe I forget what it is off the top of my head, but if you type in Timothy McClelland, you should be able to find us there. We typically are there usually Fridays, sometimes Tuesdays, 10:45 p.m. Eastern. We'll have our league draft on August 29th. So if you guys are around, feel free to tune in.
Good luck to all drafters out there.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And we'll be right back after this.
At Cheez-It, we expect a lot from our cheese.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cheese.
Interrupting.
Cheese!
Should have seen that one coming.
You should have, because I even told you I was going to be interrupting you. Morning, sir. Beautiful day, isn't it?
We take the time for our cheese to mature before we bake it into every delicious cracker. Because at Cheez-It, real cheese matters.
Right. Weekly baseball rundown fans. I only have the south side and the north side, so I'm going to be the border in between.
The border guard.
Exactly. But since I have these two here, we're talking about superstitions and curses this week. The two of the longest, may I add. Hey, I know you're backstage, Mr. St. Dennis. Stop it. But no, it's funny that I have these three guys here today. Red Sox, 86 years. White Sox, 88 years. And the Cubs, 108 years. Three of the most prolific curses ever. I'm here to talk about curses and superstitions. And one of the big ones, Wade Boggs. Wade Boggs was known as the Chicken Man. He'd always eat chicken every night when he played for Boston, whether he played for the Yankees or whoever. Took ground balls at the same time, took batting practice at the same time. That was the way he worked. But my biggest one so far for the White Sox was they had only so few times where they actually made the playoffs, let alone the World Series. 1959. 1959. Before 2005 was the last time they made it. This guy weren't David weren't even born then. But as of now, it's been 20 years since the White Sox have won a World Series. Brandon, after only 20 years, do you think the White Sox go down that trail where they add another 68 years to the next time they appear in a World Series?
I sure hope not. I mean, I had a lot of hope in 2021 when we won 94 games. But the hiring of Tony La Russa set this franchise back another decade, I would say. We're back into another deep rebuild. But even though we've cooled off majorly since the All-Star break, I still see the growth in all of our prospects, especially Colson Montgomery. He's been on fire ever since he got called up. And I knew he was going to be good, and we're definitely seeing that. I don't know how the rest of the season is going to look for us, but I think in another 2 or so years, I think this team will be back in the playoffs, and who knows if we go back to the World Series. The American League is very competitive, and we'll see how we build upon our starting rotation, we build upon our lineup, but I don't think we're going to wait another 60 years until the Sox are in another World Series.
That, honestly, if that happens, I'd be very surprised, because that's absolutely nuts that they had to wait 42 and then have to wait another 46 years just for that to happen. And I don't think that'll happen again because there's been so many things that have happened in the White Sox history books where they've had guys, and I honestly think Hawk Harrelson's not going to be around for the next one, honestly. But on a more positive note, the White Sox are doing better, and I think Brandon is on an accurate assumption right now. I'm going to talk about Chicago on the other side now. More accurate. It's going to be a easy way to say this. Josh is only 45. I don't mean to mention his age for any particular reason. He was born in 1980. When he was 4, the Cubs had their first shot at the pennant after not winning one since 1908. No, I'm wrong. I think it was 1929. They lost to the A's in 29, and they lost to the A's in 30. Not 30. They lost to Detroit, I think, in 30. But it took them all that time, just this massive timeline, until 1984, where they lose the pennant due to a error by Leon Durham playing first base because someone spilled Gatorade on his glove in between innings. How that happens, why that happens, you never know. It's a superstition thing that, like with a no-hitter, you don't talk to a guy. With a perfect game, you don't talk to a guy. When a guy's in a slump, he'll wear the same underwear. Jason Giambi wore a golden thong at one point to get out of slumps. And he let Derek Jeter wear it when he was with the Yankees. So there's that. But for the Cubs, 84 came along. They lost. 89. Greg Maddux doesn't cover his mouth with his glove. And that's where that started, is when Don Zimmer asks him to pitch to Will Clark. How should he pitch him? He sees the words from across the way at home plate. He hears fastball. Clark launches one 435 feet into the right center field bleachers for a grand slam. The Cubs would not be that good again until the mid to early 2000s. Until 2003. 95 years in the making. 6 outs away. And I know this has been told many times, but Bartman is not the reason. And I'm going to get a lot of trouble for that. Bartman was not the reason. Like with the whole thing with Buckner. Bartman is not the biggest reason. 3-0 lead going into the 8th inning with one of your best young pitchers on the mound, that's Dusty Baker's fault. He overthrew guys like Zambrano, Kerry Wood, and Mark Pryor. Do I think if they pulled him there, would anything have changed? No. Best pitchers in there in the moment. And of course, later in the same season, you have Grady Little not pulling Pedro Martinez. Both of those were massive games, too, that would have led to the World Series. I think they were both Game 6s, too.
I believe so.
You can't believe in superstitions if you don't believe both those teams were meant to face each other 85 years versus, at the time, 95 years. But the baseball gods had other things going on. They let the Marlins face the Yankees. The Cubs melt down and lose Game 6. The Yankees come back and win in Game 6. And that's history. It would take the Cubs another 13 years to get to the World Series. But I think the baseball gods paid them back. And you guys can tell me how you feel about it. 10th inning, Game 7 in Cleveland. Davis ties the game in the bottom of the 8th off Aroldis Chapman, who had against
Aroldis Chapman.
Against Aroldis Chapman. And in my eyes, Cleveland has the momentum. If there's no rain delay in Cleveland that night, Chicago's waiting is now 9 years longer into it. 117 years at that point.
100%. If that rain delay hadn't happened.
I'm going to ask both of you, because you're both Chicago fans and they both have your superstitions. Josh, you're first, because I had Brandon do his. Do you think, and this isn't a religious thing. This is baseball is not what I consider religion. Do you believe in the baseball gods? If it doesn't rain, does Cleveland come back and win that series?
I think actually 100% yes, because they had the momentum going into that 10th inning, and without the stoppage with the rain, the Cubs didn't have that chance to go in the clubhouse, have that, and it was Jason Hayward that actually gave them the pep talk and got them back out on the field energized. If they didn't have that pep talk and that however long the rain delay was, I can't remember at this point, but without the rain delay, I think we're stuck.
Okay. Now, I'll get Brandon's side because I know a lot of things can happen in a World Series. Do you think Cleveland comes from behind in that bottom of the 10th inning? Because the Cubs didn't have anybody on base when it was just the start of the 10th inning.
Like when the Cubs took the lead?
I'm talking about not if they took the lead. I'm talking about a scenario where they go into that clubhouse, but no Hayward speech or anything. Just completely down. It was a 17-minute rain delay. So 17 minutes is a long time. That's about the same amount of time as an inning is normally. So if there's no rain delay and the Cubs go down 1-2-3, does Cleveland have a chance?
Oh, 100% they do. I absolutely think that they do. They don't score. I can't remember who Cleveland had up in that half of the inning, but I do think they get a couple of hits down, and then they score one, and the Cleveland ends their drought because at that point it was like 60-something years since they last won the championship.
They had won in 1948, I believe.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely think with no Hayward speech and even with the rain delay, I do think that Cleveland does score in that bottom half, and the whole entire history of baseball is different.
So I'm going to look at something here because I think play-by-play for Baseball Reference is still available. I'm hoping it is. Because I know Michael Martinez made the final out. So let's see. So top of the 10th inning, and it was Schwarber, Bryant, and Rizzo coming in. So
Schwarber came off the bench from injury.
Yeah, and he had no business being in there. And that's something else. Schwarber doesn't screw up his knee. He doesn't play in this World Series. But 2 runs get scored because of Zobrist and from Miguel Montero. But in this scenario, Schwarber doesn't get on base. Bryant still flies out. And then Rizzo strikes out instead of getting intentionally walked by Brian Shaw. The order would have been Mike Napoli, Jose Ramirez, and then Brandon Guyer, then immediately followed by Rajay Davis, who would face Carl Edwards Jr. I think things could have gone a lot differently because they did end up getting somebody to second base, and then Davis hits the game-winning base hit. And after all that, find the right thing. Then after all that, Rajay Davis would have been a World Series hero.
And World Series MVP.
If there's no rain delay. So the Cubs literally won because the baseball gods, I think that was all the tears of the Cubs fans from the past. Just
yeah, it was one of those moments you couldn't have written it any better. You couldn't have written it better in the sports columns.
No, you couldn't have. But another one that I get down to is 1986 with the Red Sox. Because I'll see if I can get the play-by-play on that one. If that's possible, may I add. 1986, Game 6. Because I think Baseball Reference has this stuff. They should. Oh, they do. Thank God they do. Okay. So the game ends 6-5 in the 10th inning, but they're up 5-3. 5-3. and they were down 2-0. They end up tying the game. The Mets tie the game and everything else. Yeah, they tie the game. Runner scores against Roger Clemens, and then they pull Roger after the 6th inning. No, 7th inning. He goes 7 innings. They didn't say exactly how many pitches he threw, but they do get a runner home against Roger McDowell in the 7th inning. So they're up 3-2, and then it's tied. Yes, it's tied 3-3 heading into the top of the 9th. They go into extra innings. Calvin Schiraldi is thrown his 2nd inning in the bottom of the 8th, and in the bottom of the 9th. Nobody is up in that bullpen right now. Henderson homers against Rick Aguilar. Marty Barrett singles home Wade Boggs. Calvin Schiraldi should have never been in there for his 3rd inning. Now, McNamara didn't made the decision to keep him in for a 3rd inning. But you got a 5-3 lead. I think if I'm McNamara, my closer's starting that bottom half of the 10th inning for Game 6. Because I'm not pitching for tomorrow. In my eyes, I want that World Series won. And after 68 years, no, 68. 68 years at that time. This would be another 18 after that. But if I'm the manager, if I'm McNamara, that bullpen, I don't know how spent it is, but don't bring in Bob Stanley after the fact, because Schiraldi's on fumes at this point. He gets the first 2 guys, but then he gives up 1, 2, 3 hits in a row. So, do you pull Calvin Schiraldi and bring in Bob Stanley? Brandon?
See, you just brought it up. Like, if it's Game 6, I'm not playing till tomorrow. I'm trying to win it now. So, I mean, and again, hindsight, it didn't work out because the Mets came back, won. We had the Buckner play and everything. But yeah, I'm pulling out all the stops. So yeah, I'm trying to win.
And that's just it. You have a 2-run lead in the bottom of the 10th inning, and you're ahead. Because that reminds me of the ALCS where the Angels are ahead, and that goes to a Game 7, and then Boston wins. Because Gene Mock, who had never went to a World Series in 27 years of managing, let Donnie Moore in the game. He brought his closer in, but Donnie Moore hangs a forkball to Dave Henderson, and they go on to lose. So, Josh, same question. Do you pull your tiring reliever after 2 innings plus in Game 6? You won't need him for tomorrow because you're winning right now.
Well, and see, that's the thing. If he's spent, I mean, for me as a manager, and people will disagree with me on this because everybody likes to, nowadays when they go with the pitch count. I say if the pitcher's feeling good, let it. If he thinks he can keep going, let him keep going. Because if you're not going to use him the next day, then he gets a day of rest. But if he's spent and possibly going to cost you runs, you really got to think about pulling him.
Just to give you guys accuracy right now, Schiraldi in reality went 2 2/3. He threw 55 pitches in that outing.
Ooh, that's high.
When they finally pulled him, he threw 55 pitches. Bob Stanley threw 7 strikes out of the 10 pitches. And 7 of them were contact strikes. So all of his strikes were by contact. He got 1 ground ball, and unfortunately it was the Buckner play, and Bob Stanley wasn't going to get there. And he allowed both of his runs to score.
I don't know. And Brandon, what do you think? I mean, if your pitcher's out of gas, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I would take him out. I would take him out as well. Get a fresh arm, especially with a 2-run lead. Yeah, I would absolutely I would take him out, especially after 55 pitches. That's almost unheard of for a reliever.
Well, here's something that'll actually surprise you. Clemens was pissed off because he got pulled after 134 pitches because he wasn't pitching the rest of the series. I'm not talking about Randy Johnson in 2001 where he throws 100 pitches and then comes back out for the next day. I'm talking about prime Roger Clemens. I think he was in his third season at this point. This is 20 strikeout Roger Clemens. At the end of it, he's not throwing another pitch this season. He's got the entire offseason to rest. He's got the World Series parade at that point. He can relax. I think Clemens could have gone the rest of the way, even if it is 3-3. Because I'm sure the bullpen, because another thing is, the Mets with Davey Johnson, Bob Ojeda, who was opposite Roger Clemens that night, he threw 88 pitches over 6 innings. And then there was 3 other pitchers after him. McDowell throws an inning and 2/3, 45 pitches. Orozco faces one hitter, throws one pitch, gets an out, and it was a fly ball. He had the bases loaded, and he got the out. Rick Aguilera, great closer, but he's the one who blew the game in the top of the 10th inning. So, honestly, this could have been so much worse. Okay, so I got a question for both of you. Okay, let me see if that makes sense. So, Brandon, how did you feel when the Cubs won the World Series back in 2016?
When it happened, when that final out happened, I remember I was at some bar in Chicago. I just got up while everyone went crazy. I just went up and I just clapped, like a golf clap.
And that's the most respectful thing you can do as a White Sox fan when the Cubs finally broke their curse. Because I honestly didn't imagine that the Cubs would ever win one in my lifetime, at least. Because there's people who went to their grandparents' graves and everything else, and their parents' graves, for that matter. They were crying. They were emotional. It was the happiest Chicago had been since the Bulls started doing stuff and winning. It's the happiest they had been in a long time. Now, Josh, this is going to be a little tough for you because this is going to be the other way around. How did you feel when the White Sox broke their curse back in 2005?
Well, you know what? You're going to be surprised at the answer because I was actually at the home of a guy I used to work with in the sheriff's department, and we were watching the game because he's a White Sox fan. I was very happy when they won because it's a Chicago team. It really didn't matter if you're a Cubs fan, a White Sox fan. Your team for the city of Chicago won that World Series, and yes, I went out and bought the T-shirt. And showed it off for weeks because it had been forever since the Chicago team had been to a World Series, American or National League. So you're happy for your city and the fans of that team that worked so hard to get to that World Series.
I can't say it much better than that. That's just the way it is. Because now that the A's have moved to Sacramento, I'm never the closest I, as a fan of the Oakland A's, ever came to watching them win a pennant was 2006. I cried the day that Maglio Ordonez hit that home run off Houston Street. Because that was the closest. I realized quite literally the Tigers are going to be the biggest problem for the A's the rest of the time. 2012, 2013, knocked them out. 2014, they lose. 2017, they lose. 2018, they lose. 2019, they lose. 2020, they finally beat the White Sox, but it's not even worth it. They get their first win in 15 years. They make it to the next round just to lose to Houston. Then they lose in 21, 22, they don't even make it. 23, they're terrible. Last year, they're terrible. This year, they're good, but it doesn't matter. It's
and that's what I don't understand. Like in the case of the Cubs and White Sox, I know we have diehards on both sides of the city, but you should just be happy that your team, whether it's American League or National League, wins a World Series or goes to the playoffs, wins a pennant. I mean, I don't know what else to say, because like when the White Sox won the World Series in 2005, I was out there with the T-shirt, and people were like, "Well, you're a Cubs fan, you can't wear White Sox stuff." Yes, I can.
You can be happy for your crosstown rivals. That was exactly it. That's why when the Nationals won 25 years after 94, everybody who was an Expos fan was happy for the Nationals because they feel like that's still their team. 25 years later, 25 years too late, but still 25 years later, they could be happy that the team that they helped build won a championship. But the biggest superstition that I know of was always when players got into these good hitting streaks, they would not change their undergarments. They would not wash them. And I can't imagine somebody doing that. I know players like I forget who it was. It was like Rogers Hornsby or someone like that. It was somebody. They went to sleep with their bat to try and get it to know it better. Like the oddest one that I know of, there's two instances. Both of them, unfortunately, involve urine. One was Moises Alou, constantly playing and everything else. He never wore batting gloves, ever. He pissed on his hands to make them tougher. He never wore batting gloves. But the weirdest one of all was Kevin Millar. I don't think you guys know about this one. He wore he put doe urine on his hands, and it soaked to his batting gloves and everything else. And it got he did not hit better. It was just the dumbest thing in the world. He did not hit better, and his hands smelled like urine, and then he had to go wash it off and everything else. But it's the fact that these superstitions can or can't work. That's just the silly part of baseball, though.
And nowadays, and I want to get Brandon's take on this, I mean, with the wonderful internet, these players got to be careful what they do, because if any of that stuff gets out, it's on social media within 15 seconds of somebody finding out.
It's kind of ridiculous how they used to play baseball, but
I think Jorge Posada did the same thing Moises Alou did, and he didn't wear batting gloves either.
No, and that's just it. I like the no batting gloves look because I used to do that when I was in Little League. I didn't wear batting gloves, but a metal bat versus a wooden bat, you get splinters. Metal bat, you swing that bat at the wrong spot, it shakes up your whole hands, it just hurts.
Yeah.
Like, that ting isn't from the ball hitting the bat. That's the sound of your knuckles being rearranged from first finger to fifth. But my favorite one actually is 1990, I think it was 98 or 99. David Wells goes to the mound wearing Babe Ruth's cap, an authentic Babe Ruth cap, might I add. And they end up finding him for it. He paid them. And it was game used now by David Wells and Babe Ruth. He sold it for $500,000.
Well, he just paid for his fine.
He made $475,000 back from $25,000 being fined to him. So that's one of my favorite things. Is the guy made $500,000 because he decided to wear the hat, and it was from 1927 or something like that. But superstitions are what makes baseball great. But I highly suggest not eating your baseball bat, because I used to see Yasiel Puig lick the bat and everything else, and I'm like, you hit it against stuff. You got pine tar on it. I'm pretty sure pine tar is not part of a major food group.
And I read a thing, and Brandon probably saw this too. When he was doing that, licking the bat, he was licking the pine tar. That's what he was going after.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. He was licking the pine tar.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah.
I understand liking a hot dog or a nice burger at the ballpark, but pine tar? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, some of these things these players do is it gets to be in the strange range.
So I think we better end on that note. Okay. Now that we're done with curses and superstitions, both these teams won in 05 and 16, and they won. They were very happy about it. I'm sure when David was too young at the time when the Red Sox first won, but I hope eventually every team, because every team has not won a World Series. Seattle was the only team to never win it. I hope eventually they do, because Seattle hasn't had a championship in actual years, whether it was the Sonics or otherwise.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm still pissed off that they moved the team from, Tampa Bay too, but Tampa Bay is still young. Seattle's had the worst of it because they had the 116-win season and they didn't even make it to the World Series. But I don't know how to feel about the realignment. We'll talk about that hopefully next week. But they're bringing in expansion teams again in a few seasons, so we'll see how baseball shapes up. But in the meantime, CBA is going to expire next year. We'll get to that soon. But thank you guys again for another wonderful show about curses and superstitions. Don't let a black cat cross your path. Don't go under any ladders. Don't break a glass. Stone Cold will kick your ass.
There you go.